Have you ever noticed how some people seem to defy time? Their faces stay gentle and bright even as the years pass. Their eyes still carry a spark that feels untouched by the weight of the world. You can't quite describe it, but something in them feels different, free, light, alive. Maybe people have told you the same thing, that you look younger than your age, that there's something about you that doesn't fit the timeline. You smile politely, maybe brush it off. But deep down, a quiet question lingers: why? Carl Jung would say this is not a coincidence. The face is not just skin, it is a mirror of the soul. The body is not separate from the psyche, it reflects it, carries it, even speaks its language when the mouth stays silent. Looking younger than your age, in a deeper sense, might not be about luck or good habits. It might be a sign that your soul is in conversation with you, that somewhere along the way, you chose to stay connected to something most people lose touch with: your inner life. Jung spent much of his career studying the hidden forces of the psyche. He believed that the unconscious mind shapes nearly everything about us: our dreams, our choices, our moods, even our health. To him, the outer life was a reflection of the inner one. The more a person lived in alignment with their true nature, the self as Jung called it, the more their physical being would radiate that harmony. When the inner world is blocked, when emotions are suppressed, when the spirit feels trapped in falsehood, the body bears the cost. But when the psyche flows freely, when you express what's real, face what's hidden, forgive what's heavy, the body becomes lighter, almost luminous. You've probably seen this happen. Think of someone who has gone through a deep personal healing, someone who finally lets go of resentment or finds their purpose again. They don't just seem happier, they look different. There's color in their face. Their voice softens. Their energy feels open. Jung believed this kind of transformation happens when the conscious and unconscious mind begin to cooperate, when the ego stops pretending and starts listening to the soul, and that inner reconciliation can quite literally change the way you appear to others. But to understand why, we have to go deeper. To Jung, youth was never just an age. It was a symbol, a psychological condition of vitality, curiosity, and renewal. It represented the archetype of the divine child, the part of us that holds wonder, creativity, and the capacity to begin again. When we are young, we live naturally from this space. We are curious, spontaneous, full of imagination. The world feels alive because our souls are still in tune with it. But as we grow, we're taught to suppress this energy. Society demands seriousness, order, logic, and control. The childlike wonder fades. We become efficient, responsible, and tired. The spark dims. Jung saw this loss as one of the great tragedies of modern life. He wrote that most people don't truly live, they merely perform. They wear masks, what he called the persona, to fit into the expectations of others. The more we identify with this mask, the more we lose contact with the living energy within us. And the further we drift from the inner child, the faster we age, not just in body, but in spirit. But when we reconnect with that inner source, when we give ourselves permission to create, to play, to wonder, to feel, the psyche begins to heal itself. Jung described this process as individuation, the journey of becoming whole. It's the soul's way of bringing us back into alignment, not just with who we think we are, but with everything we truly are. The inner conflicts begin to soften. The energy that was trapped in fear or self-judgment is freed. The body feels it, the face feels it, even the eyes begin to shine again. If you've ever spent time with someone who is deeply authentic, you know the effect it has. There's something about them that feels ageless. You might not be able to guess their age because it doesn't matter. Their energy speaks louder than time. Jung would say that's what happens when a person's ego serves the soul instead of resisting it. The soul carries timelessness, and when you live from that place, time loses its grip on you. Jung's own life is a testament to this truth. After his famous break with Freud, Jung went through what he described as a descent into the unconscious. For years, he wrestled with visions, dreams, and voices from the depths of his psyche. It was a period of immense inner struggle, something that could have easily broken him. But instead it became the source of his greatest wisdom. He painted, built, wrote, and recorded his dreams in what later became known as the Red Book. This wasn't mere madness, it was metamorphosis, and out of that darkness he emerged with a new sense of peace. He began building small towers out of stone near his home by Lake Zurich, shaping them with his hands. When visitors came, they saw an elderly man stacking stones like a child playing by the shore. But Jung wasn't being childish. He was expressing something sacred. He was letting his soul speak in symbols, giving form to the eternal child within. That child, Jung said, is not a fantasy. It is the living spirit of creation itself. To lose it is to lose life. This is why some people, even in their 70s or 80s, still have eyes that glow like those of a child. They are not clinging to youth. They are outliving it from within. They've learned what Jung meant when he said that, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." That awakening keeps the soul vibrant. The body merely follows. There's also something profoundly spiritual about this phenomenon. Jung often spoke of the soul as both personal and universal. He believed that the divine expresses itself through the human psyche. The more we live in harmony with our inner world, the more we align with that divine current. And divine energy is eternal. It doesn't age, doesn't decay, doesn't lose its vitality. When a person embodies even a small reflection of that energy, others feel it as youth, radiance, or light. But this doesn't mean that spiritual youth comes from escaping pain. Quite the opposite. Those who look younger often have gone through great suffering, but they've allowed that suffering to open them instead of closing them. Pain that is faced becomes wisdom. Pain that is denied becomes heaviness. And heaviness shows. When you accept your shadow, when you forgive your past, when you stop fighting who you are, the energy that was once used to suppress yourself returns as vitality. Jung once wrote that, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the secret to spiritual youth, not denial of darkness, but integration. Every time you face your own shadow with compassion, you become lighter, not because the world changed, but because you no longer carry what was never meant to be carried alone. Imagine two people the same age. One has lived their whole life trying to please others, constantly anxious about appearances, always chasing validation. The other has spent years exploring who they really are, healing, forgiving, and following their inner truth. The first might appear older, not because of biology, but because of the psychic strain of living out of alignment. The second might glow, not because of vanity, but because peace has replaced pretense. The face becomes softer when the heart no longer hides. Even modern research supports this spiritual insight. Stress, resentment, and chronic unhappiness literally age the body. The nervous system, the skin, the cells, all respond to the energy you live in. A mind at war with itself produces tension that the body must hold. But calm, gratitude, and joy lower inflammation, improve cellular repair, and even slow aging at the DNA level. Jung, without the science, already understood this relationship. He knew that when the soul heals, the body heals too. So perhaps looking younger is not something to boast about or chase. Perhaps it's a message from the soul, a sign that you are living more truthfully than you realize. That your spirit is closer to its natural rhythm. That despite everything life has taken, you have refused to become bitter. You have chosen curiosity over cynicism, openness over fear. That choice changes your chemistry, your aura, your presence. It's not about defying time, it's about harmonizing with eternity. And maybe deep down, this is what beauty really is. Not perfection, not youth in the ordinary sense, but alignment. When the inner and outer world meet in truth, beauty happens effortlessly. It's why some people look radiant even in grief, why others glow after letting go, why the quiet ones often seem to shine without trying. Beauty, in Jung's sense, is the outward sign of an inward evolution. If we follow this idea further, we realize something even more mysterious. Jung often spoke of the anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine energies that live in every person. When these two are unbalanced, we feel fragmented. But when they begin to unite within us, we feel whole. Wholeness brings peace, and peace radiates. To Jung, this inner marriage was one of the most sacred symbols of spiritual maturity. Perhaps those who look younger are those whose inner energies have begun to reconcile. The inner man and woman, the active and the receptive, the light and the dark. That harmony shows in the face, the posture, the presence. In a world obsessed with external youth, Jung's message is radical. He reminds us that no amount of beauty products, surgeries, or diets can imitate the glow of a soul at peace. That glow is not created, it's revealed. It's always been there, hidden beneath fear, guilt, or false identity. When you strip those away, you don't become someone new. You return to who you've always been. That return is the true secret to timelessness. There's something beautiful about this thought. It means youth isn't lost with time. It's buried under forgetting. And you can find it again at any age. Jung saw this in his patients. People who had lost all joy rediscovered it not by chasing the past, but by confronting their truth. They stopped pretending to be who they thought they should be and allowed themselves to be who they truly were. And as they did, their faces softened, their laughter returned, their eyes grew brighter. It was as if their souls were finally allowed to breathe. You might notice this in yourself too. The days you are most at peace, people may tell you look rested, glowing young. It's not makeup or sleep, it's soul alignment. When your mind is calm, your energy flows freely. When you feel inspired or connected to something meaningful, your nervous system relaxes and your body reflects that calm. The tension of pretense disappears and your natural vitality returns. That is spiritual youth made visible. Of course, no one stays in that state all the time. We all fall back into worry, self-doubt, exhaustion. Jung himself admitted that he struggled with darkness even after decades of spiritual work. But he understood that wholeness doesn't mean perfection, it means inclusion. To be whole is to embrace every part of yourself, even the parts you wish weren't there. That acceptance itself is what keeps the soul alive. It's not about erasing age, it's about softening into it with grace. So maybe looking younger than you are isn't about defying time at all. It's about cooperating with it. Time only hurts when we resist it. When we cling to what's gone, when we fight the natural flow of change, we suffer. But when we see time as a river, something to move with, not against, it becomes gentle. The years shape us like waves shape stones. They don't destroy us, they polish us. Jung once said that life's true purpose begins only when we start listening to the voice within. And maybe that's what spiritual youth is. The ability to hear that voice clearly, to follow it, to live authentically even when the world tells you not to. That authenticity keeps the heart light. It keeps the eyes open. It keeps the soul young. If you've ever felt out of place, too calm for the chaos, too deep for the noise, too open in a world that hides, maybe that's your gift. Maybe that sensitivity, that softness, that refusal to harden is exactly why you radiate youth. You haven't let the world close your heart. You haven't stopped growing, even when it was painful. Jung would call that individuation, the lifelong process of becoming fully yourself. It's the journey that never ends, and each step makes you more alive, not less. So if people say you look younger than your age, don't just take it as flattery. Take it as affirmation. Something within you is healing. Something within you is remembering. You are not clinging to youth. You are embodying truth. And truth is always fresh, always alive, always timeless. One day, even when the mirror shows lines, even when the hair turns silver, your presence will still carry that same light. Because real youth was never in the skin. It was always in the soul. So live gently, forgive deeply, create fearlessly, stay curious, stay kind, and stay open to the mystery that is your own becoming. And if this message spoke to something in you, if it reminded you of the timeless part of yourself that never fades, then let it stay with you. Reflect on it. Let it guide you back to your own center. And when you're ready, watch the next video, where we go deeper into the wisdom of Carl Jung, the journey of the self, and the art of living from the soul. Because once you understand that time cannot touch your essence, you begin to live differently. You begin to live as if eternity is already here, because in truth it always was.